Hello, and welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors.
Crooked Doctors, folks.
Today is Friday,
And it's
April
11th,
2014. And we should have Jason Berg, because I just talked to him,
He'll be-
calling in.
Yeah, he'll be home.
So we're going to. There are those of us who are watching. We broadcast, as you know, to over 620 households.
Right.
In Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx.
Yes.
But we also stream live.
In New Jersey.
We stream live on the internet. So if you're not in the greater New York area, you
Florida, New Jersey.
Florida, California,
Florida.
New Jersey, upstate New York.
Nationwide.
What you can do is, I'm going to show this. You can watch us, because we stream live, you can watch us on the internet.
I see.
So what you can do is, if you happen to be out there watching us streaming live, I'm going to switch now to our Skype computer. Oh, this should be Jason calling in. Hello. I'm good. Well, just 1 second, because
You got no sound, Jace.
Oh, no. Let me put you through, Jason.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So we got Jason Berg calling in on the phone.
We do.
Okay. Say hello, Jason.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Fantastic.
Hi, Jace. Great to hear you.
Okay, I'm going to turn it up a little.
Yeah, turn the volume.
Okay, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh,
Great
great.
new week. A lot of things have been going on and really good things going down, and I'm really glad to be alive for another beautiful week.
Okay, so what I was saying to people who are watching us out in California and Florida
Yes.
and different parts of New Jersey
Yes.
is that we broadcast live to over 620,000 households. That's over 500,000 households
Sure.
in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx.
The boroughs, yes.
But if you happen to be watching us in our live stream,
Right.
I'm going to. What you can do is, and I'm just going to review this, is you can go to our website, which is www.mnn.org.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is just.
Try to use Google Chrome, folks, because Internet Explorer doesn't work too well.
So
Okay.
here we are, right here. This is
Right.
if you're on the internet.
Right.
You can go to. You can watch us on our live stream.
Yes.
We broadcast right here from Community Channel 1. So I'm just going over this a little bit. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here we go. So if you happen to be out there and you don't get cable, but you can watch us
Right.
on the internet,
Yes.
and you go to right here, Crooked Doctors, Community Channel 1, and you click on Watch Now.
Right.
And you'll see us live
Right.
on your computer. And, there are folks I know in Florida and California who watch us live.
Oh, yeah.
And right here you go to, let me just zoom in. And you can see that we can surf the internet and do all kinds of great things.
Oh, sure.
So it's right here. It's www.m as in Mary, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy.org.
Right.
And you can watch us on the internet.
Yes.
So let me go back to us.
In Florida?
Florida. Who said Florida?
Yeah, I think that's
Feedback. Sorry.
is that you? Is that you, Jason? I'm going to turn.
I actually turned my volume on. Sorry.
Oh no, you're coming
No,
in
you-
good.
You're fine. You're excellent
No,
today.
that was my computer that you heard.
Well, you're good. You're good.
Oh, you want to turn your you want it to, if you're going to call in, you can call in
Yeah.
at 212-245
Right.
7273. We've got 3 call-in lines right here. This is our phone. We got 3 call-in lines. So you can call in with a question or a comment. I can lock in up to 3 callers, but I can take up to 6 calls. So, the ability, the power that we have to broadcast is huge, because as you can see, we can present documents, I can play video, I can surf the internet.
Sure.
So this is a great tool for giving information out, because that's one of our missions here at Crooked Doctors.
Absolutely.
So, Jason, we're glad to have you. And if you're watching us out there, what you'll see is we got these buttons here.
Buttons, folks.
Yes, I was going to inquire about that. I like the buttons.
These are the buttons that I'm going to give to you so that you can wear these when we go to
in New Jersey with Pauline.
Yeah, with Pauline Roman's case. And I have some important information. We went to landlord-tenant court today with some folks we were helping.
Yes.
And we wore these great big court support buttons. There were like 10, 12, 14 people in the room.
Yeah.
I ran out of buttons. But these are very easy to make. You can make, I made 10 of these for $1 each at,
You gotta get the clips.
you get the little clips because the buttons with a needle are considered a weapon in court.
Right.
But you wear these in court so the judge knows that the person that you're supporting is not alone.
Right.
And we color coordinated them to go with our
Legal pads.
legal pads because we're all sitting in the audience taking notes.
Taking notes.
So that you, Your Honor, if the the court system is so corrupt, if there's a change in that transcript, like my criminal trial transcript was changed, and I should actually, let me just mention that really quick. They changed my criminal trial transcript. I talked about doctors who lied, to steal money from me, and that was changed to doctors who like.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't. K in there.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the dirty tricks that they pull.
It's interesting with them doing that to the documents in your proceedings. It's a felony that the judges and any of his cohorts were involved in.
Well, good to know. But when I was testifying at criminal trial, I used the word lied.
Yeah.
Doctors who lied to steal money from me. And that was changed in the transcript to doctors who like to steal money. So these are the dirty tricks, the dirty lawyer tricks that we're dealing with. So what we do to protect ourselves is we come to court. And we wear our court support buttons because we want people to see. And we've got our legal pads, and we're taking notes. So this was a very effective technique that helped two producers here when they were facing criminal charges that were very severe. And after about, 9 months and 2 or 3 court appearances, their criminal charges got dropped down to a violation. A $100 violation. So because they had people in the audience. So this is information that we're sharing with the general public. If you have to go out there into the court system, you make sure you get your great big legal pads. You don't hide from the judge. You get your buttons. You bring your family, your friends, your support group, whoever you can. Remember, I used to do this with Women Organized Against Rape in Philadelphia. Although I volunteered in the emergency department, I would work to assist doctors collect forensic evidence with the Johnson's rape kit, and I would work because I was a war volunteer. That's Women Organized Against Rape. But we would send volunteers into the courtroom. So we've got you got your great big legal pads. You're taking notes. Okay, the judge knows you're not hiding. Sit right up there, so you're telling the judge if you change that transcript. Because they won't allow independent cameras in the courtroom. So if you change that transcript, we're going to catch you. Now, we did this in Pauline Roman's case, and guess what? We got an accurate transcript. Okay? A couple other things we did to get an accurate transcript. So there was a new development that happened that helped us protect Pauline, and I'm going to show it on the internet. I was actually allowed, this is very helpful, Jason, because I was actually allowed to sit at the defense table with the two folks that we went to.
Oh, this morning, yes.
Right.
I was surprised.
And they were allowed to receive help from.
She wasn't allowed to speak, but she was.
I could answer questions from the judge.
That's interesting.
Okay, they were the folks that we went to court with today in landlord-tenant court in Manhattan in front of 2 judges. I was allowed to sit at the defense table with the 2 defendants. I was allowed to speak if I needed to. I didn't need to. I was taking notes. So they were allowed to receive the assistance of a non-attorney friend.
There you go.
Now, why is this important? Because I'm going to switch to, just one second here. Let's go to our Skype computer. Oh, I got phone calls.
Oh.
Wait, they better come back to me.
Who's coming on now?
Just 1 second.
Okay, take your call.
Hold on just 1 second. I think we need to get back to, hold on. Hello, thank you for calling our show. Oh my gosh, it's Ben. Let me put Ben on.
Oh, Ben, a long time, Ben. Where you
Go
been?
ahead, Ben. Are you on?
Where you been hiding, Ben?
How you doing there, Bill? You're
Oh,
looking pretty dapper
Oh,
today.
thank you, Ben.
Wait, I don't want to lose this other caller, so hold on, Ben. Just 1 second.
That's it.
Hello, thank you for calling our show. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Okay. So, Ben, you've been watching our show, have you?
Yes, I've watched it. It's so busy, you know. I got nothing much to add. I mean, I'm glad for one. I'm glad that Jason changed that picture of his.
Oh, boy.
I changed the
Yeah,
picture.
this
Isn't
way-
that a
yeah,
nicer
yeah,
picture?
Yeah, that certainly is.
Yeah, that last picture, he looked like Lord Farthington standing in front of Parliament.
Yeah, he did. That's why I changed the picture.
Yeah, definitely an improvement. Yeah.
You
That's
know, and I mean, you should bring, you know, when you go to court, you know, with this like and the lie, maybe, you know, these court reporters need a Q-tip so they clean out their ears. Maybe they just didn't hear it right.
No, they heard it right. I can give example after example where they changed the transcript. And in fact, one of our producers here, when I first started telling her about this, she's like, they changed my transcript too. You don't think that's going to happen, but it does. So you think that, you know, the court reporter and the transcript, it's like Fort Knox. It's not.
Yeah.
So you need to protect yourself. I mean, this is what you need to protect yourself from a corrupt court system. A few friends, a legal pad, and you let the judge and that corrupt court system know, we want independent cameras in the courtroom. But until that happens, we got people in the courtroom taking notes. So if you change that transcript like you did to Lydia Radin, we're going to catch you. And Jason, what is that called? Is that called a felony, Jason?
It's a felony. Any court records that are changed and not put into the record, even if you don't accept it, it's also a felony. Could be a felony.
There you go. So
How's Betty?
I'll talk about that later. But what I wanted to show was, let me do this really quick. I wanted to show, stay on the phone with us.
Yeah, I just wanted, I wanted to ask you about Harold Chandler, but go ahead, go on.
Well, here's what I want to show, because this is really important, because we confirmed this today. Okay. And, you know, I was allowed, I've shown this before, but let me just, hold on. Okay. This is our Skype computer.
Oh.
Now, let me just zoom in a little bit. Now, I showed the New York Times article on one of my previous shows, but Chief Judge Jonathan Littman has now said that he's doing a pilot project, right, in Brooklyn and the Bronx, particularly in housing court, where for the first time, I'm going to read this. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Now, I've been doing this in Brooklyn. First of all, we did this with Women Organized Against Rape in Philadelphia. That's how we changed federal law.
Right.
And I've been doing this in Brooklyn with Betty. So Chief Judge Jonathan Littman, right here, announces a new court navigator. So he's calling the assistants of non-attorney friends, these new court navigators. Wow. Okay. So today I got to sit at the defense table with two people in landlord-tenant court. And most significantly, for the first time, the trained non-lawyers called navigators, these are your non-attorney friends, will be permitted to accompany unrepresented litigants into the courtroom in specific locations in Brooklyn Housing Court and in Bronx Civil Court. Yeah. They will not be permitted to address the court on their own.
Right. Well, that's what I was getting at.
Right. Sure. Okay. So thanks, Bill. They will not be permitted to address the court on their own, right. But if the judge directs factual questions to them, they will be able to respond.
Well, I have to, sure.
Okay, so I've been going to landlord-tenant court in Brooklyn for the last 2 years doing this. Yeah. So thank you, Judge Littman, for catching up here. Sure. They will also provide moral support and information to litigants. That's what we did with Women Organized Against Rape in Philadelphia when we all volunteered and changed federal law. And help them keep paperwork in order, which I did today, assist them in accessing interpreters and other services, and before they even enter the courtroom, explain what to expect and what the roles of each person are in the courtroom.
Right.
So here you go. Today, now, Jason, remember when I went into court with Pauline, and you went into court with Pauline, and her aunt was there?
That's right.
And
A lot.
pardon me?
So we've done that a lot. What day was it?
Yeah.
Well, but one of the very first times, and Judge Mary Beth Rogers in landlord-tenant court in New Jersey,
Jersey City, folks.
in Jersey City, would not allow Pauline Roman to have the assistance of non-attorney friends. In fact, she threw us out of the courtroom. Remember?
Yeah, and the thing is that actually that was against the law when you did that, because you're allowed to do that by the Fifth Amendment and in the Constitution.
So what we've got now is that. So thank you, Chief Judge Littman.
Yeah.
So what we've got now is.
Precedent.
Well, excuse me. I was doing this in Philadelphia. Women Organizing Against Rape was doing this in Philadelphia for decades.
Yeah.
But I was doing this for 2 years in Brooklyn with my little landlord-tenant group.
Sure.
And now Judge Littman is saying this is a new program. I showed this when the New York Times commented on this favorably. But today in landlord-tenant court in
Manhattan.
in Manhattan, we went in front of two judges, Judge Arlene Horn.
Yeah, she recused herself, folks, and
Well,
then we wound up in another judge.
Then we went to another judge, and this is landlord-tenant court, 111 Center Street, and we went in front of Judge Ann Katz.
Right.
And again, I was allowed to sit at the defense table and provide assistance. I'm a non-attorney. I'm a non-attorney friend providing
a lay person, yeah.
providing assistance to the defendants. So on Monday, if we have to go to landlord-tenant court in Jersey, and Judge Mary Beth Rogers wants to throw me in, Pauline is the actually Pauline's the plaintiff now.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, she's not. She's the defendant.
Not
I'm
yet,
sorry.
not
She's
yet,
the
not yet.
defendant.
She's working on it. Okay.
She's the defendant. So if Pauline Roman in landlord-tenant court in Jersey City has to go in front of Judge Mary Beth Rogers, I'm allowed to sit at the defense table with her.
Sure.
And if she says anything, I'm going to say, well, Chief Judge Jonathan Littman is doing a pilot project in Brooklyn and the Bronx. On Friday, April 11th, 2014, I went in front of two landlord-tenant court judges in Manhattan,
That's right.
and this was fine with them. So Judge Mary Beth Rogers,
What's
do you
the
really...
problem?
Yeah, and do you really want... I don't think I would be questioning... if Chief Judge Jonathan Littman in New York says that this is a good thing to do, if I was Judge Mary Beth Rogers in landlord-tenant court in Jersey City, I don't think I would be questioning...
I can give you one item here. You could go to Judge Bariso and make the case. I mean, this would be interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Judge...
he's the assignment judge for...
Bringing this out too.
Yes.
May I interject? You don't even need a precedent from another judge. You have the precedent within the Constitution and within all our documents. So we can go in there with proof that you would be known as a country lawyer because you're not practicing the law. You're helping people with the law.
Well, what I was trying to say was when we tried to do this with Judge Mary Beth Rogers,
Right.
the malicious strategy that was executed is against
Sure.
Pauline and against me was she doesn't get a lawyer, she doesn't get a lawyer, she doesn't get a lawyer.
Sure.
Well,
When was that? Because remember, since August, since actually October, when we started to get involved in this National Living Alliance movement, with the people, everything was different. We didn't know as much. Actually, we can go in there and demand that we have certain things done, and she can't do anything about it because we have the floor. She's there to serve us, not us to serve them.
Thank you. So we are educating ourselves, and we are educating people how to protect themselves. But when we have to go in front of Judge Mary Beth Rogers again,
Sure.
she's not going to be throwing me. Now, the way we did this was we set it up as if we were Chinese dissidents. I'd raise my hand, they'd throw me out. Bill would raise his hand, they'd throw him out. Her aunt would say, I'm a relative. I can assist my relative at the defense table. They throw her aunt out. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
This isn't a courtroom.
Right.
You know, it's a kangaroo court.
Kangaroo court.
So if she tries this again, if Judge Mary Beth Rogers tries this again, I'm going to say, listen, we got Chief Judge Jonathan Littman in Manhattan trying this pilot project. I've been doing it in Brooklyn with my members of my tenants association, and I just went to landlord-tenant court in Manhattan on Friday with 2 judges, Judge Arlene Hahn and Judge Ann Katz, and sat at the defense table. You were there witnessing this.
I was.
And we had 10, 12 people in the courtroom. I ran out of buttons.
Right.
You know, so there's plenty of people who can sign affidavits. So listen, if Jersey City landlord-tenant court judge Mary Beth Rogers, well, I wouldn't be questioning Chief Judge from New York. Jonathan Littman. I wouldn't question him.
I feel that Mary.
The problem in Jersey City is the culture of the corruption. The corruption is so deep that you can cut it with a
butter knife.
Butter knife. It's like a big pus wound. You know, this wants to explode. Case in point, I'm asking for a simple Oprah who has the authority in the courthouse to tell me that I cannot distribute literature. And from there, I haven't been able to find anything. And even the head person said I had no, it was being dismissed. But the way it is, he's still in jeopardy because he never answered my question. I don't have to give him all the citations because that's not my job. His job is there to reply to a query and to do it in a 7-day period. He failed.
So, Ben, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What Jason's talking about is, and I'm going to show this is a National Liberty Alliance, and they're trying very hard to educate people to take our country back because information has been withheld from us and we've been treated like sheep. Jason is a state coordinator for National Liberty Alliance. I'm going to show their website. Well, he was coming to court with us, and he's multitasking, and he happened to have these little flyers with him, and he's handing them out to interested people. I think he talked to like less than 5 people. Sure. Opposing counsel tried to have Jason arrested. Now, not to worry, because I had the bail money on me. Bill's got 2 relatives who are licensed to practice law in Jersey City, so don't worry, Jason, we would have gotten you out of jail. But when Jason asked, well, what law am I breaking? Why can't I share information? I'm not doing anything wrong. None of the people that Jason talked to complained. None of the court officers or the sheriffs complained. It was opposing counsel who tried to have Jason arrested as a retaliatory gesture to intimidate us. Is that correct, Jason?
Well,
yes, but that's
I didn't know where it's coming from. Only thing I know, my First Amendment right was violated, and my query of the BS of mine was not been able to answer. So as far as I'm concerned, they didn't do the due diligence, and I was being violated.
No,
I think I was also part of a court that falling affair.
Legally, you may be right on this.
No, go ahead, Ben. What do you want to say?
Legally, you may be right about being able to pass around the things over there, but this all sounds like it comes from the Paula Barton, Gloria School of Intimidation and Irritation people.
We're not.
I'm saying this is why these guys get pissed off and go after you, because I mean, like she tells a story about how one day she went to the Supreme Court and she went and sat down on the floor in the lobby, waiting for guards to come over and say something to her. It's just about, you go about it the wrong way. And plus, in Jersey's all run by the Italians, and you can't get through there unless you know Christie, or unless you want to pay somebody off.
Hey, Ben, are you saying this is provocation?
It's not provocation. It's just that these people want their pound of respect. It's like when a cop stops you for speeding, you don't say, "What the hell are you doing, you lousy pig?" You say, "Give me the ticket, officer. I want to confess or go to court." But it's the fact that this stuff goes back to the '60s when the students were just being irritating,
Sit-ins,
passing out papers,
right,
harassing judges,
sit-ins,
claims, and the judges say, "Get the hell out of here, okay? I want a lawyer to talk to, not these people." That's all it really is. I mean, I know I'm making it sound simplistic, but this is the way I feel. And just by listening to the Paula's stories, it just, she stopped people on the street. One guy was filming a show for Discovery Channel, and she was walking by, and just out of nowhere, she said to the guy, "Do you have a film license?" So, I think that's just intimidation. That's all it is. These people don't like the way you do those things. You know, it's,
I think that's a very. I think both Bill and I agree that Ben makes some very good points. But getting back to me, at Crooked Doctors, I didn't do anything wrong. In fact, when this show is about my persecution about Yeshiva University,
Sure.
and when my first year went badly, I like Ben pointed out, I tried to work with the system.
Yes.
So I did a research project, and thank you, Ben, because this is a very nice segue into my next point. So I'm going to change the camera view, and I'm going to show you.
Good point.
This was the complaint that I made today to the FBI. And what I wanted to show was, and I want to thank Ben for this nice...
For raising this. Yeah, very good, Ben.
For this segue.
That was good.
Is that I tried very hard to work with the system.
That's right.
So I'm going to go through this some more today, but before we went to court, I tried to work with the system. So what I'm going to show is, this is page 364 of my criminal trial transcript. Okay, I did nothing wrong,
right.
And I tried very hard
to work within the system.
To work with my medical school.
There you go.
And this is what they stipulated to. Now, I was illegally incarcerated
Sure.
because the school claimed that I had no legitimate purpose, that I was harassing them. I wasn't harassing the school officials. I have, and I continue to have, a legitimate purpose in seeking to access and correct my records.
Right.
But they stipulated there was absolutely no support for my project.
Right.
Contrary to the college, this is Yeshiva University's, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine.
Got it.
Wait a minute, I'm having a problem.
But I asked you about
Hold it. There seems to...
Go on.
Wait. Let me go back to here, because I'm looking at my monitor and we're not transmitting as well as I...
All right, go ahead. Get it
Okay,
in.
maybe that's better. Okay, I'm looking at my monitor. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but right here, this is a stipulation that I handed to the FBI today when I made my complaint.
Sure.
Camera 2 is not doing exactly what I want Camera 2 to do. But,
Well,
let me go back a little.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so right here, wait, let me see if I can get this. Hold it. So right here,
You
this
just put in this recently?
this morning, there was absolute. So this morning, so I want to show the audience that, this was my complaint this morning.
I got it.
It's not coming really through on my monitor.
Well, do the best you can.
Okay,
Talk
so I tried. Now Ben is criticizing, saying, you're a provocateur. You're looking for trouble.
Yeah.
No,
provocation.
there was absolutely no support for my project, contrary to the College of Medicine's promises that they support student research. Wait. So I tried to work with the system. I was working 90 hours a week at Long Island Jewish Medical Center doing really good research. This is a stipulation. Hold on for a second. This is a stipulation. Let me come back to me. This is a stipulation that they stipulated to in during my criminal trial.
I got it.
Okay, so I tried, Ben, your criticism is well taken, because I tried to work with the school. So even after my first year was a fiasco, to no fault of my own, and I was so mismanaged that I failed 3 courses.
Sure.
And they put me in this bogus decelerated program, which they didn't even have, they lied about.
Right.
So I have to do a research project for graduation,
Right.
and I worked really hard to do the research project, and I in fact earned a principal authorship on 3 to 5 original clinical research papers.
Sure.
So I tried to work with the school. I even wanted to make grant applications so I could bring money into the hospital for which I was working. So I gave this to the FBI today. This is a stipulation that says the school lied to get me into the school.
Okay.
There was absolutely no support for her project, contrary to the College of Medicine's promises that they support student research 100%. And I also gave the FBI, now they stipulated to this. So I'm in federal court suing the Crooked Doctors at Rikers Island, try to clear my name, because all of this started with the Crooked Doctors at Yeshiva University. They lied to get me into the school, and then they lied to railroad me out, and I gave them the statutes. So I was not provoking them. I was not, I wasn't looking for a fight. I was looking to cooperate with them to publish papers and to bring in grant money. They wouldn't even let me access federal work study money.
Well,
So wait. Let me just
yeah,
finish
I
this
gotta finish
point,
the
okay?
beginning, yeah.
Because this is important.
Good.
Okay, so when they drop kicked me into Rikers, Mike, to shut me up and discredit me.
Yeah.
Now I'm in federal court suing the Crooked Doctors to clear my name. And some shows back, and I'll bring that for next week. Some shows back, I showed the intentionally falsified medical records from Rikers Island, and I made a complaint to the FBI. This is Medicaid fraud. And what I got back was, oh, you're not credible. Well, what could be more credible than a stipulation? Okay, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office stipulated to this. They agreed to this. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office and Judge McLaughlin agreed to this. Okay, so the school fraudulently induced me into enrolling in their school in 1994. I should write this down, okay? In 1994. So when they lied to make false criminal charges against me in 2009, right? I enrolled in 1994 based on false promises. So when they pressed false criminal charges against me in 2009, they stipulated at trial in 2010 that they lied to get me into the school, that I was fraudulently induced. So they had a retaliatory motive, okay? Because they lied to get me into the school. Other students were contacting me. In 2006, it was Marlene Abramova who called me, and I was named as a witness in her case. So 3 years later, when the school is pressing false criminal charges, claiming I'm harassing them, I don't have a legitimate purpose. I have a legitimate purpose in seeking to access and correct my records. So I'm not guilty of any crime. And they admitted, the school in 2010 stipulated, okay? They stipulated. We lied to get her in the school.
I know. A few weeks ago, I asked you about that. I said, why the hell would they stipulate that? And you said, don't worry about it. It's nothing. They had to stipulate that.
It was the truth.
Right. So I'm saying now you're using the stipulation. You see, they're admitting that they're guilty.
Yeah, they are admitting that they're guilty. And the reason why they couldn't lie was because Dr. William Rennie at Long Island Jewish Medical Center, who was one of the doctors that I worked for when I was doing this research project, he would have had his name as a principal author on 3 to 5 original research papers. Dr. Silverman, Dr. Rennie headed up he was director of academic affairs. Dr. Silverman was director of research. Dr. Silverman would have had his name as a principal author on 3 to 5 original research papers. So Dr. Rennie lost those papers. Dr. Silverman lost those papers. The chairman of the department lost those papers. The entire department was harmed. I wasn't allowed to bring it. So they started telling the truth. What are you shutting this woman down for? She's publishing papers. We're getting papers. We can get grant money. The department was hurt. Long Island Jewish Medical Center was hurt. The school was hurt. Don't you want your medical students to go out and publish papers and bring in grant money so they can show that they can function? I'm doing original clinical research. I'm showing that I'm employable as a doctor, and I'm outperforming my peers. I'm outperforming some of the doctors that are there commenting on my performance. So the reason, why did they stipulate to this? Because the doctors at Long Island Jewish Medical Center told the truth. Dr. William Rennie told the truth. So they couldn't lie.
But why does, I'm just assuming, like, why are you wearing a button that says court support? I mean, why would you want to support the court?
Well, that was this morning, Ben.
No, we're
it out.
not supporting the court.
No, spell it out.
I mean, you say victim.
She's going to tell you, Ben.
Yeah, but we want the judge to know, because there's another group. We're dealing with a corrupt court system, and there's another group that goes into court, and we're sitting there. We're wearing these great big buttons because we want the judge to know that we're supporting the person that we came in. We're providing the support at the court. Pardon me?
Then say so.
Well, we don't want to say victim support because, we don't want to say defendant support. Or,
It doesn't sound good.
You can customize these if you want. They cost like $1 to make. But if there's another group, they formed a group They go to court with each other. They wear great big buttons that say court support. They have 2 pro bono attorneys, and they argue common law. So they're like, you want to misconstrue with all these statutes and codes? We're going to argue common law, which is basic common sense.
Okay.
So the law is based on basic common sense. So when you get these people lying and misconstruing like they did in my case, I mean, does anybody really and sincerely believe that Judge Patterson wrote a ruling in my case that said that my amended complaint could point to no school policy that would allow me as a former student? That's how they misconstrue. A former student can't access and correct their records. I mean, I'm looking at Judge Patterson thinking to myself, you are a former student of Columbia Law School. You do not honestly and sincerely believe Judge Patterson in the Federal District Court in the Southern District of New York, nor do the U.S. Marshals. You don't honestly and sincerely believe that as a former student of Columbia University Law School, Judge Patterson, that if Columbia University made a one-time honest mistake in your academic records or your financial records, that you could not access and correct them. You know that's a lie. He knows that's a lie.
Patterson is the guy who he's the one who couldn't force them to correct the records, right? The school records.
This was the federal judge who lied. He just rubber stamps. But so that's the federal district judge in the Southern District of New York, but I appealed my case. So what excuse do these 3 appeals judges at the Second Circuit have for upholding this intentionally fabricated ruling? And then I did an en banc procedure where I asked the entire Second Circuit, 36 federal judges, saying this is so wrong that all you judges have to look at this. What excuse do they have? What excuse does Ruth Bader Ginsburg have? What excuse does Sonia Sotomayor have? And remember, I went down to Washington at the Sonia Sotomayor hearings and said this judge does not deserve to be on the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, she's not stupid. She's smart. She has basic common sense. She is a graduate of a law school. She doesn't honestly and sincerely believe that if her law school made a one-time honest mistake in her records that she, Sonia Sotomayor, could not access and correct them. It's garbage. So, forget about all that. We're arguing common law, basic common sense, and if we can find other groups that are all managing towards this solution because we're all dealing with the same problem, that gives even more legitimacy and validation to what we're doing. The courts are corrupt, and we got to find ways to stop the corrupt courts. But I want to show this really quick, and I'll just hang.
I just want to ask you one
Sure.
thing. Did you go to, or were you invited to Harold's Christmas party last year?
Everybody is. Why?
Did you go last year?
Yes. Why?
Were you invited this year?
I'm invited every year. Why?
All right, good. Could you get me in this year?
Of course, the Harold would love to have you.
All right.
Well, you know what? If you want to come,
Just tell him I'm your fiancé or something.
no, you're welcome to come. You can come as my guest. In fact, at the end of April, we're having a meeting of ACAP, which is the Association of Cable Access Producers. And I will send you an email, and you can come as my guest to one of our ACAP meetings. The last meeting we went to was riveting.
I saw that thing.
Oh, wait. We have another caller. Let me get
Another
another
one.
caller.
Got another caller, Ben.
Hold on. Hello. Hello.
Who's this?
Hi, let me put you through, okay?
Who's this fella?
All right, here we go. Okay, we have another caller. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So, do you have a question or comment you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I'm watching your show. I've been following, and I see you have a lot of groups. So you got the tenants' rights groups, the medical students, and the 911 first responders, and
See?
there's just a lot of separate groups.
That's right.
And then there's even more groups: the environmentalists, there's small business people. Everybody has their own pet peeve of what they're coming against, and we're so fragmented. I just see a potential for us coming together. We're working with the common law grand jury, and what's to stop us from coming together as one force?
Well, she would tie it all in right now, caller. Go
you
ahead.
know what?
Tie it all in.
Let me
Generally speaking, you did
let me
that
show
once.
you. This is what Jason's
Going to tie it
working
all
on.
in the general
Hold on for
sense.
just 1 second.
Go ahead.
We actually should. So let me
Right.
just connect to the Skype computer for a second.
She did do it once. I hope she does
Okay.
it again now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right, hold on.
this is our Skype computer. So
Yeah, so
here we go. There we go. This is the National Liberty Alliance.
I got it.
and they're trying to solve the problems of the corrupt court system.
Right.
And if you want to, you can listen in. Now, Jason is a community organizer.
Yeah.
So if you go to the states here, and if you go to New Jersey right there, what you're going to see, and I'm going to scroll down a little, is, and let me just increase the view.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what you
I-
see
I-
is in
I-
Hudson County, wait, this is Jason right here. Now they're trying to solve the same problem that we are, right? This is Jason right here. Jason, I'm showing the National Liberty Alliance, that's your phone number, 201, just one second, let me say it. 201-240-5351. And the National Liberty Alliance is trying to take our country back by invoking common law grand juries and teaching us a lot of the information that the corrupt court system doesn't want us to know. So what we got is...
They're a great educational tool and facilitator, but other people have formed grand juries in the past too. And there was even an attorney in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That, he did a brief and did so much research on grand juries that he stopped practicing law. And then in the Trayvon Martin case, there was a group down in Florida
Right.
that formed a citizens grand jury and indicted the prosecutor in the Trayvon Martin case last year. I've been doing a lot of research on this.
Isn't that great?
So many groups. Yeah, she got indicted last year in July. So many groups can form grand juries. You just got to be careful not to taint the jury pool. You got to come together as with all the different groups coming together. Even the environmentalists and the small business people, everybody's got gripes. But if we start coming together en masse with one common cause, we have the same enemy, which is our, the people that are in our government. But they can be changed. Our forefathers put that in place, and that's what common law is all about.
Caller, can I ask you this question? Is your question then that we have all these disparate groups, and you're looking for what, a common thread of unity here?
Well, I think what our caller is trying to say is we've got these different groups, right? We got the 911 first responders have been ripped off by dishonest attorneys and a dishonest court system. We got our tenants who've been ripped off by dishonest attorneys and a dishonest court system. We got medical school students in the state of New York who...
Right, everybody's got the same gripe with the same people.
And that's the bureaucrats.
Well, it's not the bureaucrats, it's the corrupt court system.
Yeah, but it's all bureaucratic statutes that make us, under the common law, believe that we have to follow their system. Remember, as we are sovereign kings to ourselves, they are two-dimensional reality, and we are three-dimensional. And the only way they can get us in their world is to make us think that we are part of theirs, and they are all corrupt. You cannot get an honest trial with this thing. Look how many people have been put in jail and being released because the prosecutor was too eager to put someone away. I'd rather have a man go free than put an innocent man.
Okay, what I'm going to do is, I've done this before, but I'm going to say this again. There's basically, and I'm grossly oversimplifying for the audience.
General, right.
I'm grossly
over. With our court, though, right now, is that it doesn't do anything for the victims.
Well, wait. Before you,
Well, the
common law grand jury does do something for the victims.
Wait, guys, give me 1 second, just so we don't lose the audience. I'm grossly oversimplifying. Basically, what we're saying is that there are two court systems. And I'm grossly oversimplifying. There's a common law system where you argue basic common sense.
English common law.
Yeah, the English system, America, India, Canada are based on the common law system. You don't have statutes, you don't have codes. You have other cases where the fact pattern is either the same or very similar, and you're trying to get consistent results. So you don't worry about things like statute of limitations. You don't worry about standing and all. You have a victim. You've got a wrongdoing. You constitute a common law grand jury if you need to, and this is, you only need 25 to 16 people. and you can constitute a common law grand jury, and the community itself can affect justice. What we've been victimized by is this.
The Roman system.
Thank you, Bill. This is the Roman system, which is based on a series of codes and statutes, and you can see the failing right here in the.
You gotta beg for other people to make decisions for you, and in common law you can do that yourself.
But in the Roman system, I'm going to let you speak in just 1 second. In the Roman system, obviously you can't create a code for everything that happens, or a statute that everything that happens. So you can see the inherent failings right here. Yeah. Okay, and there are a lot of failings right here. So if you go back to common law system, it's basic common sense.
The English, yeah.
It's and you're talking about cases where the fact pattern is either the same or similar.
And just for a point of information, it's based on constitutionalism, not based on statutism and codes and ordinances. And that's the bottom line, is that it's common sense, common cause, common reality, and if there is no victim, there is no crime. The state cannot be a victim. They victimize us. They're the terrorists. They're the insurgents. They need to be brought to understand that they are civil servants, not servant masters.
So for all the, I'm going to just say this and then you guys can comment some more. So for all the people here, the 911 first responders who have been victimized by a dishonest court system and dishonest attorneys, and for all the tenants who have been victimized by a dishonest court system and dishonest attorneys, and for all the medical school students in the state of New York who don't have their basic civil rights, you don't have to depend on the dishonest court system. In the common law system, you get to form a common law grand jury. You get to take your court system back, and you get to bring the wrongdoers to justice, and that's what we're learning. So I think what the caller is trying to say, and we've got about 15 minutes left, a little less than 15 minutes left, is that.
Listen to this caller. Right.
No, what I'm just saying is that let the speaker do it, because he's the one that's answering the question, and you need to have that person speak.
Okay.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Bringing everybody together. We all have the same enemy. But we're fragmented. We're splintered. There's strength in numbers, and the more numbers we put together. But there's, remedies for. Just what Jason was saying, there's remedies for the victims. Right. In Roman law, you don't have that. And you got to beg, and you ask them, and they take your rights away, and they fine you. In common law, it's common sense. It's golden rule.
Good.
And so, but you tell the servants what to do, not the other way around, and they've switched it around on us.
And the servants would be the people that we employ, the judges, the court officers, the law enforcement. They serve us.
Right, and
that's why they're bonded. They have to have a bond to be able to do what they do, because if they don't, you can go after their bond.
Yes, and some of our bonding agents, like the judges, supposedly are paid by the controller of New York State, and actually they're supposed to pay that for themselves. And we're doing that's a whole thing of an attack on their bonds and their oaths of office. If they don't have those two things, they are powerless, and they can be personally sued for not having
You can go after them
bonds.
Personally. You can go after their personal assets.
Right.
So you're saying that the judges, the marshals, including the U.S. Marshals, I know this is true because I ran this by U.S. Marshal Wartofsky, and I said, "Excuse me, U.S. Marshal Wartofsky, but didn't you take an oath of office? And didn't that oath of office say that you were sworn to uphold the Constitution? So when my 5th and 6th Amendment constitutional rights were violated, and when my Constitution, and this is in criminal court, but my 5th Amendment constitutional right to due process was violated with Judge Patterson, aren't you supposed to be supporting me, Marshal Wartofsky, U.S. Marshal Wartofsky, because I outed him on the internet, not running away? Shouldn't, instead of persecuting Lydia Radin, shouldn't you be going after the judge that committed a fraud? There was a fraud executed on me by the federal judge. There was a fraud executed on me by the courts. There was a fraud executed on me by Yeshiva University's dishonest attorneys. So you took an oath of office here, U.S. Marshal. The sheriffs took an oath of office. The judges took an oath of office. Most recently, Pauline Roman reminded Judge Mary Beth Rogers that you took an oath of office. You violated my Fifth Amendment constitutional rights. And you're saying they're also bonded. So that's interesting. So if they're bonded and they've done you wrong, let me ask you a question. Can you put a lien on the judge's bond?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a security. Absolutely. It's just like Securities and Exchange Commission. That's what it falls under. So if they've committed fraud and violated their oath, then they're bound by that bond.
And once they lose their bond, they are out of a job.
So if you're forced to deal with a corrupt court system and you go to the Bar Association, and what you find out is the Bar Association is just a good old boys network where all the dishonest attorneys protect each other.
It's a fraternity.
Yeah. So that would...
Right. It's a union. Right. It's they have a union card. They don't work for the state. They say they're representing the people of the state, but they're not. They have nothing to do with the state. They're a non-governmental organization.
Right, and the state doesn't even give them licenses. They give themselves the license. And by the 13th Amendment that was removed by them said that you could not be in a position of nobility, or you could not, and therefore you couldn't be a citizen. But they are squires, part of the knighthood of the British registry, and that's why they call it a bar.
Right. Yeah, and Jason, I'm glad you brought that up. That's in the 1800s. They removed the 13th Amendment when Lincoln was assassinated, and attorneys are not supposed to be running for office in the executive and the legislative branches of our government because they are part of the judicial branch. It's a conflict of interest.
So when you go to the Bar Association...
So check this out, though, Lydia.
Okay.
New Hampshire filed a bill last year to restore the original 13th Amendment. And they accused the judicial branch and the bar attorneys of hijacking all three branches of our government and our grand juries. And they said, we will not have justice in America until this is restored.
Okay, so what you have is groups like NLA, and NLA is just a facilitator, but you know, you don't have to constitute a common law system or common law grand jury system just through NLA, National Liberty Alliance. So their mission is to educate and to try to go back to this system. But what we got now is this system where the Bar Association, the members of the Bar Association, the lawyers, they're not licensed by the state. They're just a fraternity. They're a guild. So you're asking the foxes to watch each other while they steal from the hen house. That would be us.
Fox guard in the hen house.
And the real thing is really a travesty here. In order for an attorney lawyer to take you into court, you have to be incompetent. Now, you don't know the law, therefore you are incompetent in the law. But the real irony is that they are themselves violators, because if trials went fast, there would be any money to be made. And they are leeches on the people along with other systems. All our bureaucrats are a cause of all our problems in this country. Did you see one person that was part of the banking system go to jail for this corruption? The banking system is...
Okay, Jason, it's crooked doctors.
I get it, but what motivates the doctors? Look at the FDA.
Right. It's a vicious circle of them all, and it comes back to the titles of nobility. Anybody that takes a title, it's not just attorney. Doctor is a title. Mister is a title. Sir is a title.
Well, but sir is a title given to someone who is a person in England. I'm a mister. I worked on it. I'm a doctor. I earned that. Now, it doesn't make me any better than the next man, but if I am a foreign nobility and I am therefore out of that country as a citizen because I have removed the 13th Amendment, that needs to come back. When the common law comes into play, like in New Jersey, we got like 9 states that are coming along. And when the common law comes in, the NLA is there to facilitate the returning of our common law back to the people. We're all united for one thing: to bring truth, justice, and fair play back to our courts. Lydia should never have to go through this anymore. And the bottom line here is that we're all here as brothers and sisters. It's not about us black, white, or purple. It's us against our bureaucrats who've made themselves
Right.
masters over us. And we have
Right,
to
and there's other countries that are going back to common law. Nepal did it in 2007. It's not just we've gotten away from common law in this country. But if you look on the Department of Justice website, it says common law is the will of mankind issued through the life of the people.
right, but because they're hypocrites, they don't see that, and it's like you prove it. Look, when you ask someone to prove their point, where's your authority? They become a broken cycle. They can't put the number in to plug it in why they're there. But even then, if they plug it in, it still only applies to government and institution people. I'm not an institution. I'm not a business. You're not a business. Lydia's not. William's not. But again, they make us think that we are.
Right, and that's what it comes down to. But, we all get involved in commerce, and that's what common law breaks down to. Every offense has a monetary value that you can convert. And that's what the common law grand jury is about. It's about restoring the victim and making the victim whole.
Right.
And restitution.
Thank you. Because that's what we argued. Actually, this is very good because that's what we argued when we went to change the law in Jersey. Now, when we went to change the law in Jersey, we were dealing with this corrupt system, right? But I don't care if I'm in this system or I'm in I'm in the English system. It doesn't matter which system I'm in because the facts support my case. So here we changed New Jersey law. And we argued in effect, I mean, this is what we argued. We argued that we were wronged and we needed to change the law so we could be made whole again. These are common law principles. So they don't want us to know about common law because we can constitute our own grand juries. So this is England, Canada, India, the United States, the common law system, and we're going to do more of this. So, but the public can basically get together. If you've got a group, I mean, if you've got a wronged group, I mean, when the 911 first responders hear about this, they're going to go to town with this. Oh, you even have Reverend Al Sharpton's group. I happen to be a member of the.
I have to say one thing. Everyone can form their own common law grand jury, but what makes the common law grand jury of the NLA better than the other organizations? One thing: we're seeking to get into our courthouses because that's where the throne is. That's where the king of the sovereign is. That's where we're going to administer the truth, justice, and fair play to our fellow sovereigns, and taking away their nisi-prisi courts and their money flow. No one needs to get a ticket anymore because it's all illegal. When they stop you, and they are stopping you from being a sovereign. None of your rights can be taken away.
Okay, guys, we're going out in 30 seconds.
Right.
So we're going to have to continue this conversation.
Can I just read something out
Sure.
of...
Let me get through.
Sure, you got 20 seconds. Go.
All right, this is in Minneapolis Tribune. More than logic has suffered. They're talking about juries. As originally conceived, juries were to be a kind of safety valve, a way to soften the bureaucratic rigidity of the judicial system by introducing the common sense of the community. If they are to function effectively as the conscience of the community, jurors must be told that they have the power and the right to say no to a prosecution in order to achieve a greater good. To cut jurors off from this information is to undermine one of our most important institutions. Perhaps the community should educate itself, then citizens called for jury duty could teach the judges a needed lesson in civics.
That's a wonderful quote.
Stay tuned, folks.
And unfortunately, we only heard about half of it. So, caller, you're going to have to call back next week and read that entire quote.
Exactly.
Is that okay with you?
We'll start it off.
Sure.
Okay, terrific. Great show. I'm going to put it up on the internet as soon as I can.
Thanks, people.
And we're going to learn some more about how all these different groups can get together.
We're going to get it.
And institute our own common law grand juries and
Yes,
get our
we
own
will.
justice. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. I'll call you back, Lydia.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.